Yeah, they did. But the 172, you ready for the number? 45,000 airplanes. 172 has been built since 1956. It's a four-seat, single engine. I've flown them. It's a delightful to fly. And just a great airplane. We have all of us from here on here. So it's very significant in this airport because they're zero emissions, half the noise of the regular airplane, and half the cost. 1 hour charge, 1 hour flight time, and flight time more like a glider flew about a year ago. It's the right airplane. But a very significant machine because it's reducing the noise to the airport. Come across the north side, it's pure electric. No, it's pure electric. It's got 2 batteries and one of those pulls down. We're coming along the north side of the airport. This is where the Douglas factory is. Back in the 50s, factory was the entire north side of the airport. Bunker Park Boulevard, all the way the whole way to the airport. And it was taken down in the 70s and remade into Douglas Park and the airport area. The hangars here are privately owned for private planes. We're going to come around and show you some more cool stuff. Any questions so far? Yes, sir. Are they shutting down the airport as late as possible? It is not big. The city will be allowed, there's a language, I'm not very basic, there's a language, the city will be allowed to close the airport December 31st. It's 3 years in the city. Yeah, they pay a bigger rent. Yeah, and they also pay land fee. I forgot to mention, every time an airplane lands, they pay a fee to the airport for the landing fee. And it's charged by the weight of the airplane. So if you're landing a Piper Cub, that might be like $5 or $8. If you're landing a jet, it's 20 or 30 bucks. It's by the weight of the airplane. Yeah, they pay a landing fee. Yeah. Just when the wheels touch the runway, they pay a fee. It's not charged by any land fee. Yeah, they can get the airplane back down for a week or so. If they live in the hangar, they pay. So if you're testing control tower, coming up on the left is an orange, it's like an orange flag, and I want to talk about that for a minute. Very important. There it is right there. Who said that? I'm impressed. You win a free bus ride around the airport. This young man knows his stuff. That is a windsock. Why is it important? Because it shows you 2 things. It shows you the direction of the wind and the speed. So right now, the flag bar is hanging down about halfway. So we're learning about 8 or 10 knots, 6 or 8 knots of wind, and the wind is right down the runway. Why is that important? When I was taking flying lessons, my instructor said the airplane does not know where the runway is. It only knows where the wind is. Coming down final approach, you have crosswind, you have to correct for that and compensate for that so that the wheels arrive on the center stripe of the runway. And that windsock tells you that information as you're coming down final approach. We just passed a couple of firefighting helicopters. In January, it was 15, 5 or 10 knots, 6 or 8 knots of wind. Very significant right down the runway. Why is that important? Because I was taking flying lessons. The airplane here for 10 days. They made all the difference in the world. As we come back into the show, I just want to mention again, if you haven't seen all the airplanes, feel free to talk to the pilots. Pilots love talking about their airplanes. A lot of great stories, a lot of great history. This is the Atlantic aviation ramp where they fish jets and all the large airplanes. That's a lot of service areas. And a lot of cool airplanes land. We're back at the show. I want to say thank you guys for the great crowd. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for being here. Let's have a round of applause for our bus driver and airport everybody.
That's the crown jewel of Santa Monica's aviation firsts. Here's the deep dive on the 1924 around-the-world flight that started at Cloverfield, now Santa Monica Airport. The plan, organizer U.S. Army Air Service wanted to prove global aviation was possible. Aircraft, 4 Douglas World Cruisers, DWC, custom biplanes built by Donald Douglas and his small team right here in Santa Monica. Names of the planes, Seattle, Chicago, Boston, New Orleans. The journey, March 17, 1924. The 4 planes departed Cloverfield, Seattle, official start point. April 6, 1924, left Seattle heading west, first stop Alaska. May, July, flew through Asia, India, the Middle East, and Europe. September 28, 1924, returned to Seattle after circling the globe. October 9, 1924, landed back at Santa Monica to a hero's welcome. Stats, duration 175 days. Distance, 27,553 miles. Countries visited, 28. Planes completed, 2, Chicago and New Orleans. The Seattle was lost in Alaska, the Boston was forced down in the North Atlantic. Why it mattered. First aerial circumnavigation of the globe. Put Douglas aircraft on the map. Literally overnight, Donald Douglas went from a small startup to a trusted U.S. manufacturer. Cemented Santa Monica as a birthplace of world aviation milestones. Boosted public perception of aviation from dangerous stunt to practical tool of national power and global connectivity. Legacy today. A replica Douglas World Cruiser is on display at the National Air and Space Museum, Washington, D.C. The original Chicago is preserved there too. In Santa Monica, Cloverfield's connection to this feat is often overlooked in current park closure debates, but it's arguably the airport's most historic global contribution. Douglas Day celebrations explicitly nod to this flight as part of why SMO deserves heritage recognition. Analytic takeaway your tour. In 1924, 4 Douglas World Cruisers left this field to try something no one had ever done, fly around the world. 6 months later, 2 came back, proving global aviation was possible. This airport isn't just local asphalt, it's where worldwide air travel began. Would you like me to also dig up photos, diagrams of the world cruisers and their route map so you can show your audience how they did it?
Explain how big of an achievement it is.
It's hard to overstate. The 1924 around-the-world flight was the moon landing of its era. Here's why. Context in 1924. Airplanes were still primitive tech, wood frames, fabric skins, open cockpits, unreliable engines. No global air routes. Fuel, maps, and spare parts didn't exist around much of the world. The Army had to preposition caches by ship. Navigation tools, mostly sextants, compasses, dead reckoning. No GPS, no radios that could reliably span oceans. What they pulled off. First global proof of concept, 27,500 miles in 175 days across 28 countries. Engineering feat. The Douglas World Cruisers were the first planes designed for interchangeable floats and wheels, could land on water or land. That adaptability made the trip possible. Survival feat. 2 aircraft were lost, Seattle in Alaska, Boston in the North Atlantic, but the crews were rescued and the mission continued. Diplomatic feat. The flyers were greeted as heroes in each country, creating an early form of aviation diplomacy. Why it was a biggest. First global aviation milestone. Put the U.S. and Douglas aircraft at the front of world aviation. Catalyst for Douglas aircraft's rise from a handful of employees in Santa Monica to tens of thousands by World War II. Public imagination proved airplanes weren't just for barnstorming or mail. They could connect the whole planet. Direct analogy. If Lindbergh's solo Atlantic flight 1927 was like Apollo 11, the world flight was like Mercury Gemini, the first time the planet was truly shrunk by air. Analytic takeaway. What happened at Cloverfield in 1924 wasn't just a stunt. It was the first demonstration that aviation could be global infrastructure. Without it, commercial airliners, military airlift, and even today's global travel networks would have been delayed years or decades. Do you want me to map this achievement against other 20th century firsts, Lindbergh, Apollo, Internet, so you can show your audience where it sits.
No, I think we should talk about how the eVTOL, and this is a California node point for transit all the way up and down the California coast, could be the future and its big achievement of this day. Wait.
Exactly. That's a powerful way to stitch the past to the future. The Douglas World Cruisers in 1924 and today's eVTOL prototypes in 2025 are both proof of concept moments where Santa Monica is a node in a bigger California and global network. Cloverfield in 1924, proof of global aviation. World Cruisers showed that airplanes could shrink the planet. They weren't yet practical for everyone, but the achievement validated the idea of global flight. That one node at Santa Monica became the launch pad for the next 100 years of Douglas-built aircraft. Santa Monica in 2025, proof of regional air mobility. eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Short hop, quiet, battery-powered air taxis. Designed for exactly the kind of trips California needs. Santa Monica to Santa Barbara, Santa Monica to San Diego, bypassing freeway gridlock. Node point logic. Santa Monica's location on the coast makes it a perfect link in a coastal chain of vertiports, SMO, LAX, Long Beach, Irvine, San Diego, and northward to Oxnard, Santa Barbara, SFO. Just as Cloverfield once connected the U.S. to the world, SMO could be a hub in California's eVTOL corridor. Why this matters as a big achievement. 1924 showed aviation could go global. 2025 could show aviation can go sustainable plus regional. Both eras hinge on Santa Monica as a demonstration site. Just as the world flight forced people to imagine a connected globe, eVTOL ops here could force Californians to imagine a connected megaregion without cars. Analytic takeaway. SMO is more than a local airport or a future park site. It's historically been the proving ground for breakthrough transportation modes. 1924, first global aviation milestone. 2025 plus, potential first California eVTOL corridor node. Both are about showing the world what's possible, then scaling it into everyday life. Would you like me to sketch? Cool topic. The LA28 Olympics eVTOL plan is one of the more concrete future visions we've seen tied to Santa Monica Airport. Here's what I found out, what it would mean, and what to watch out for. What we know so far, Archer Aviation has been selected as the official air taxi provider for LA28, 2028 Olympics Paralympics. LA 2028, the plan is to use Archer's Midnight eVTOL aircraft. Piloted, carries up to 4 passengers plus pilot, to move VIPs, fans, stakeholders between Olympic venues. Santa Monica Daily Press, SMO, Santa Monica Airport, is explicitly listed among the proposed vertiport, takeoff and landing hub locations for this network. Santa Monica Mirror, trip projections are 10 to 20-minute flights for distances in the 20 to 50-mile range depending on route. The Midnight is said to produce less noise and emissions compared to helicopters. Santa Monica Mirror. What this means if it happens, Santa Monica becomes a central node in a new mobility infrastructure, not just in local transit, but in an event-scale network, Olympics level. Creates a proof test of what eVTOLs can do in urban coastal areas, handling large surges in demand, e.g., Olympic traffic, managing noise, ops, safety near dense neighborhoods. Could accelerate regulatory, infrastructure, and community readiness. Power supply for charging vertiports, air traffic adjustments, safety protocols, permitting, etc. If successful, sets precedent and opens the door for eVTOLs to become a permanent option post-Olympics, not just a gimmick or temporary special event tool. What's unclear? What to watch out for? FAA certification. Midnight eVTOL still needs clearances. It's in the process but not yet fully certified. Regulatory speed is a risk. Smart cities dive. Vertiport locations and infrastructure. Which exact pieces of SMO will be used? Where would takeoff landing pads go? How many? Parking, waiting areas, access from the ground. Environmental, noise, and community impact. Neighbors will understandably ask, how much noise, vibration, battery waste, safety risk? Will this add new pollution or reduce traffic? Will it conflict with park conversion or be part of it? Cost and affordability. If trips cost too much, eVTOLs will be seen as luxury VIP extras, not a broadly accessible transit alternative. Some sources say $30 to $40 for certain short rides from SMO to Malibu. Scaling that up to high-demand event traffic will matter. Santa Monica Daily Press. Timeline and legacy. The Olympics end. Will the infrastructure, vertiports, power, maintenance, regulatory framework be maintained afterward, or will it degrade or be repurposed? Live analysis lines you can build on here are some things you can riff on to connect this to what you've seen today. Just like the Douglas World Cruisers proved global aviation from this field, eVTOLs during the Olympics could prove short hop, clean air taxis are feasible for Los Angeles, but only if SMO is retained as a hub. Imagine flying here to SoFi in 10 to 20 minutes, skipping traffic, but only if runway access, vertiport infrastructure, gates, and environmental justice are part of the plan. We've seen SMOs wear in bathrooms, in maintenance, in soil concerns. If we build above that, vertiports, eVTOLs, those cracks become risks, not just for operations, but for legitimacy. If you like, I can map out for you a scenario planning sketch, what the eVTOL Olympic plan would require an SMO by 2028, vertiport build, power, testing, safety, flights per hour, plus what could go wrong and ways to hedge it.
Okay, now that interview's over. That was interesting. All right, cool. Let's move on. Still want to know what it sounds like. All right, let's keep walking. Let's go. So, all right, I'm gonna finish up by the Cal Fire helicopter. Let's recap today's shoot. And we went on a bus ride. We saw C-57, different helicopters. We talked to Archer. We talked to Pivotal. We talked to Ampaire with their eel. We talked to, talking to Archer about the 2028 Olympics. So yeah, let's sum this up, and you can go into a lot of detail and be long. Let's go.
Here's a long-form recap of your Douglas Day shoot, weaving all the threads you hit: buses, planes, helicopters, history, tech, into one layered narrative. I'll give you the detailed version, even if some specifics might need later correction, because the point is to show scope and density of what you covered today. Douglas Day 2025, Field Recap 1, the frame of the day. Starting point: Clover Park, 17 acres of community space on the airport plateau. You tied personal memory, soccer, t-ball, mountain biking you wished you could do there, to civic critique. If Santa Monica struggles with bathrooms and maintenance here, How could it responsibly manage 160 acres of airport land after 2028? Pivot point. You grounded that critique in history, the airport's heritage as Cloverfield, where the first around-the-world flight, 1924, and the DC-3 revolution both began. Hopper 2. Big Blue Bus Ride. Boarding the Big Blue Bus around the airport was itself symbolic. Past. It once ferried thousands of Douglas aircraft workers to their shifts in the 1930s-40s. Present. It circles an airport that may close, acting as a reminder that the land isn't just about pilots and developers, it's tied to everyday Santa Monicans' future. Whatever replaces SMO, BBB will be the real connector for people. Najar 3. Aircraft highlights. C-53, C-47 safety date thrill. Built right here in Santa Monica in 1943, seeing the anthem and flag against its fuselage tied heritage to ceremony. Other displays. You saw helicopters of multiple types, CAL FIRE's Firehawk-style aircraft, private rotorcraft, and fixed-wing GA planes. These drove the conversation about SMO as both historic site and active emergency infrastructure. eVTOL demos, Archer, Pivotal, Ampaire's Eco-Electric Caravan EL Hybrid, each represents a proof-of-concept node, just like the Douglas World Cruisers in 1924. Technology and the Olympics. Archer Aviation, official air taxi provider for LA 28 Olympics, planning to use SMO as a vertiport. If successful, this could be SMO's next first, proving that eVTOLs are viable regional connectors. Pivotal, formerly Opener Blackfly, showed the single-seat eVTOL vision, a democratized future where personal electric aircraft could be as common as motorbikes. Ampaire, EL Hybrid Electric, demonstrating lower emission retrofits for regional aviation, another California first tied to SMO. Analytic thread. The Olympics could be SMO's 21st century 1924 moment, a showcase of experimental aviation at global scale. But unlike 1924, it's entangled in politics of closure and land conversion. Chapter 5. CAL FIRE helicopter as bookend. Standing by CAL FIRE at the end, perfect symbol of aviation's living utility. Past, Douglas built bombers here to fight World War II. Present, CAL FIRE ships lift off from the same plateau to fight California's wildfires. Future, if SMO closes, Santa Monica loses not just history, but a contingency base for firefighting and disaster response. You connected it to Wangari Maathai's hummingbird parable. The helicopter as a giant hummingbird, dropping water one load at a time, doing the best it can. 6 thematic arcs you wove in. Environmental, PFAS from firefighting foams, remediation cost comparisons to Tongva Park, the Hunter's Point cautionary tale. Governance, is Santa Monica capable of managing more parkland, or should SMO become a California state park to avoid another Candlestick Point fiasco? Heritage versus future. DC-3s and World Cruisers versus Archer Midnight and Pivotal Blackfly. Both achievements of their day, both tested at Santa Monica. Equity, Big Blue Bus and public bathrooms as litmus tests for whether the city can deliver everyday infrastructure, not just big visions. Number 7, analytic takeaway of the shoot. Douglas Day wasn't just a community festival. It was a live case study in history. First global flight, first DC-3, WWII production. Present, CAL FIRE, GA Aviation, Douglas Heritage celebrated. Future, eVTOL Olympics, clean aviation, contested land use. Tension, voter mandate for parks versus housing pressure versus billion-dollar cleanup versus heritage preservation. So your shoot today captured the full arc, from kids' games at Clover Park, to WWII planes, to firefighting helicopters, to eVTOL prototypes for LA 28. That's Santa Monica Airport in one day, a living hinge between past, present, and possible futures. Want me to package this into a Douglas Day recap report? PDF you could post or hand off, with sections, photos, and references, so it's more formal than just your live stream notes?
So guys, be safe. See you next time. Clear.
Are they towing it all the way? Cool, thank you. Leave it. Leave it. Thank you. Dude, this is awesome, man.
Glad you enjoyed.
Do you work here? Or
Not
you're
here,
a
but
contractor?
Yeah.
Yes. This place is awesome. Have you been to the park? Have you been to the park? Have you been to the park?
Oh yeah, I've been to the park. Yeah.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh man, I love those glasses.
you know what's up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've been
I hope you have a great day.
I've been streaming the whole thing.
Oh, that's dope.
I got my computer backpack and everything, yeah. It's like actively cooled and shit. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, great. Let's go.
Are you on a call?
No.
Okay. If I know that you were excited to see the Ampaire plane over there. If ever you want to swing down by our Long Beach hangar, we got the caravan down there. We got our King Air stuff, our Air Force projects. We have all sorts of good stuff. So if you're excited about this stuff, I'm happy. Oh yeah, yeah. Seriously, for so long. Huh? Yeah. Oh, amazing. Oh, look. I love it. Okay. Uh-huh.
Preservation.
Uh-huh.
Also maybe do some recreating of your buildings to give them more
Sure.
hangar space,
Yeah, yeah.
and they can keep it open.
That would be
They
amazing.
have experience like the Hudson power plant.
Sure.
So
Okay. Yeah.
there's a
So you can actually make
so I've been
document history and retain it.
and even recreate some buildings.
Yeah. Founded the company in 2016, so I'm 9.5 in.
I worked with subtracted next to Red Six.
Okay.
And they're over by you guys in Camarillo.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff out there. Huh? I'll go for the first time, yeah. First time, like this week. What a dude, yeah.
I met another fighter pilot.
When I saw him, though, I was like, this is just like Wolverine. Like, oh, is it? Yeah. great.
Santa Monica. I've been traveling the last like 3-4 months from California doing research about Santa Monica. Hobby. I have a hobby in your current.
Man, I love it. Well, meaningful work and good stories to tell. And hopefully motivates the conservation. Good stuff. Well, hey, have a really good one, huh?
Very good. Oh, okay. Well, that conversation got streamed. Whoops. Okay, so I just met Kevin. Sick. All right, let's get back to. Are we still streaming? Dude, sick. Okay, so that was awesome. Oh my God. So as I'm walking out, I don't know if what you saw or heard of that, but like I'm walking out, the head of Ampaire, Kevin, just like invited me to message him and go visit him. I've been following them for years, at least 5 years. Oh, oh my God. Let's go. Leave it. Why? This is not okay. Dude, what was that about? Keep your damn dogs on leashes, guys. What the? Okay. That's over. Okay, so yeah, dude, I want to go see more of the eel in the caravan. Oh, sick. All right, so, well, what was today about? Today was pretty good. We learned that. Well, first of all, I was interested in that the green space on the northeast side of the airport was pretty significant. Also, we didn't see on the tour, there's a very large parking lot over there on the northeast side. There's a lot of area. And I'm curious, that area, I don't know if it had much airplanes in it, so maybe that's easier to reclimate. See, the thing is certain areas of the airport are probably easier or harder to reclimate than others, and that's to be important. But remember, Tongva costs of reclamation were only like 20% reclamation or something. Oh, I need to go to the car, and I can't. Should I just hop the fence? No, no hopping fences. Okay, so I think this worked out really well today. I'm really happy. The interview with Archer was interesting. I'm happy. I mean, it's hard to, maybe my headphones, I need to put on transparency mode or something, just because it was hard to hold a conversation. I mean, this is still just a prototype. I mean, look what this. You know what I mean? This is just a prototype. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm doing all right, but we'll see. I mean, it's kind of crazy. What do you think people thought of this? Plus, like, that lady was like, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's a vent tube for my whatever. So, I mean, I made it through security with this thing, and the guy didn't even look inside. That's a little terrifying, but whatever. Oh, man. What an experience. I gotta go to the bathroom. Can I just go back and go to the bathroom? Let's get the car and go to a bathroom. Let's just do it official. Let's wrap it up. Let's go all the way back. So all of this space where we are right now was Douglas Manufacturing. All of this office space that's all around us right now was making World War II planes. So it's interesting to think about how you lose the manufacturing capabilities here, these hangars, and you don't have them back. So I'm just a passionate. I think California Parks is really the answer for this place, because they can keep the airport open and slowly transition it, and especially use it as a testing place for the state park. And we can have the vendors here. All of that all still can continue. You could have the pilot schools be vendors, and there's so many things that are possible with State Park. Also, don't forget, State Park has the indigenous people with them, and they have much more resources with that. And I feel like we need more space for indigenous people. I haven't checked out that site by the school, but I'm going to. That's next on the list somewhere. And then we also have just a whole bunch of stuff. And man, my brain, I'm tired, I'm hot. And I had a great time. I'm really happy I didn't chicken out with the camera. I'm happy I did it. Oh man, this has been super amazing. So I had a really good time with the stream. Had some technical problems, but I think I got at least an hour, definitely over an hour, maybe almost 2 to 2.5 hours of stream content of the airport. We saw sheriff's helicopter, LAPD helicopter, Firehawk, Coast Guard. There goes the Coast Guard right now. And oh no, that's the Cal Fire. That's the Cal Fire, and then we had the Coast Guard also. We had the electric plane. We had so much stuff. It's just been exhilarating, and we did it all on 5G over the phone using my backpack V4 with a